Hello and welcome to Action for Animals. Today we meet the organisation which for decades has been tasked with saving and caring for animals. Officially, it's the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, or the RSPCA as it's more familiarly known. And it's one of the largest charity organizations around the world, specialising in animal rescues and furthering the welfare cause for animals. And before we chat with today's guest, Charmaine Hatcher, who is the General Manager of our Barbados R.S.P.C.A. and is a veterinary nurse, let's see Charmaine as she guides us on our visit to our RSPCA.
I am Charmaine Hatcher of the Barbados R.S.P.C.A. I am the General Manager and Veterinary Nurse of the Society. Let's go inside, see what we're all about. Welcome, just come inside. Thank you. So when you enter the RSPCA, this is our reception and waiting area, where you would give your name and the problem that's happening with your animal at this given point in time. Sometimes it's just admission for surgery. Other times it's because the animals require their annual vaccinations and examinations, or they're extremely ill. So the vets will call the animals in one by one, but we work 2 tables in this room. We have 5 vets on staff. They do numerous jobs split during the day. Some are consulting, some are doing surgery, others are doing treatment in the hospital admissions area. And they will be brought into this area where the clients will explain the problems with their pets. The vets will examine them. Sorry, there are no vets in here at the moment. And we treat and we dispense all medication at the time of the animal leaving here as well. We tend to not like to use prescriptions because it's difficult for a person with jobs, time, to go out and purchase medication that is really required. So we just treat and you walk away with your medication as well one time, especially if the animal is very ill.
We'll continue our RSPCA visit after the break. On Action for Animals, we team up with the animal advocacy group Action for Animals Barbados to enlighten, to educate, and to let you know the importance of proper care for our animals. Today, the work of the Barbados R.S.P.C.A.
We continue down into the area here. At this point, this is where we weigh every animal as it comes through. This is to help us with immediate choice when we're doing injections for your dose, as well as prescribing medication, working out your dose. So we get an average weight each time you enter the building.
No problem.
So we're going into our main surgery, which holds 2 surgical tables. Our other room, just to the right, that holds 1 table. So we call that surgical room 1. This is Christine, our vet tech, and Dale. Dale is also with adoptions, and Dr. Pollard. Dr. Pollard, as I said, is one of 5 vets here. So they're just preparing to, what's the procedure with this guy?
This is spay.
for a spay. So it's a female dog, and we are spaying her to stop having puppies at this point in time. So they're just giving her an anesthetic, then we will tube her, because we then use gas anesthetic, and we will then move forward into surgical preparation, and then Dr. Pollard will perform her surgery. And this is our surgical 1 area, which we use as consultation room, or for surgery, or a lot of the time just bringing in parvo sick animals for hooking up quickly to IV fluids before we admit. Or we are treating a lot of heat stroke problems where we have to bring them in here to try and get their temperature down as quickly as possible. Heat stroke is a very serious problem, and it's caused in different ways. Sometimes it is where the animal is being kept at home with the severity of the heat, how the sun is shifting. A lot of owners are not aware of the condition of their animals at home once they go to work, because they don't know how the sun is shifting on them, as well as walking them. Some folks will ride a bicycle and trot their dogs at the side of them. They cannot handle this heat at this point in time. Any exercising of animals should be done either very early in the morning or later in the evening. Got to try and keep these pets out of the sun at all costs. When they come in here to us, a lot of the times they are actually in comas. Then it's the struggle to bring their temperature. Their temperature is off the scale of a thermometer. It is just so high. So we have to try and get this down as quickly as possible, which we use with chilled IV fluids, as well as putting cold towels, blankets onto the animals, just to lower the temperature as quick as possible. Unfortunately, even though we manage to get the temperature down and the animal is in a more comfortable situation, we're probably still going to lose it, because their internal organs have been destroyed in a manner with this very high temperature. They start to vomit, they pass bloody stool, their whole internal system has technically been destroyed by the extreme high temperature that they have just undergone. And we are losing them. We are not saving many heat stroke victims. No. Inside here is our lab room. We do all of our lab blood testing. We take the blood samples from the very ill animals, and we can do this at a 24/7 given period, and microscope and 2 different blood machines to get a full blood picture. This is Dale here, our adoptions as well, and our head of kennel staff. And Dale now is recording and entering up more kittens that have been surrendered to us already today. We have a basket here of 4 kittens, another one, and another one. So these now, although we have not labeled them up yet, we haven't given them a tag, every animal that comes into us is tagged, that we can keep reference of them and the full history of them. We have forms that we do up of their general day-to-day care. At this point in time, we're holding 135 cats and kittens and 169 dogs and puppies. That was the count this today, and these now will continue to add to that number. We double up, treble up, quadruple up. I mean, our kennels that should really hold probably 3 to 4 dogs, we are having like 5 to 6, depending on size of them and if everybody is going to be compatible together. We do a lot of moving and shuffling because another dog sometimes just doesn't get on with the rest that's in there, so we have to find a kennel for him. No one dog, unfortunately, has the joy of having a kennel to itself, especially when it comes to shelter animals, because we are just overrun with numbers. This applies too with cats and kittens. A mother cat may come in with a litter, so unfortunately she has to have a kennel on her own because she's not going to tolerate another cat in with her once she's feeding these kittens. So we are really, really pushed to the limit Technically speaking, we should only be holding 70 dogs on our compound, and we have doubled that on an ongoing basis. We can't get that number down. Yes, if we have too many, you are then forced to euthanize. And this is a decision that's not taken lightly. It's a serious thought that goes through this, because we're aware of the family that has brought in the animal. Most of the time, euthanasia will happen if it is an animal that is extraordinarily old, and really old I'm talking about. Some animals are coming in here, dogs are 18 years old. And the reason for giving them up is, yes, it could be a health reason, medical reasons, having to go overseas, or having to go into apartments where they are not allowed. And it's very distressing for the owners bringing these animals in. It is not something that they have taken lightly, because we've gone through the talk with them by, please try family, friends, go onto social media, try and find a way of putting your animal into a home environment that you can even visit them. You know, it's not that you have taken them away from you and lost full control and contact of them. When that does not happen, they are definitely brought here to us, and we just try our best. Sometimes animals do not do well in a kennel environment. They will constantly fight. We neuter first, see if that cuts down their little bit of aggression, but some just don't want to accept to living in our conditions until we can place them into a home. So we are forced at that stage to put away. All depends as well too with health issues. If they're on heart medication or skin problem medication. We have a lot of diabetic animals that are also handed over to us. Many of these and animals with severe skin problems, the reason for handing over is the ongoing maintenance and cost of keeping the medication up to date. A lot of it we've managed to fine tune, and you get it done as low as you can and at a most reasonable price. This is the reason too we dispense all our medication in here, because it does help cut down the price than going to a pharmacy. I'm not giving pharmacies a bad knock, but they have their protocols to meet, they have their expenses to meet. So do we, but we really are in the interest of the animal to keep it in the home environment and keep costs as low as possible.
So fascinating, the work that the RSPCA does. You know, the behind the scenes was certainly interesting. And we have Charmaine Hatcher here with us today. Charmaine is the General Manager of the Barbados R.S.P.C.A. and is a veterinary nurse, and full disclosure, an old schoolmate. So it's really great to catch up with you, Charmaine. Thank you for having us at
Thank you as well.
RSPCA and for coming today. Perhaps we should backtrack a little bit, because when I introduced the organization, I said that, you know, it comes out of the Royal Society, which is a worldwide organization. Correct. But then you corrected me, so perhaps you can enlighten our viewers as to, you know, why I then said our RSPCA.
Right. Okay, so we started way back. We had started before 1905, but then we ran dormant through lack of interest, lack of staffing.
Wow.
Then we started again in 1905, and it has been without break continually from there. And it basically started because of the welfare and the workload that was met out to animals on the plantation system.
Oh.
It was nothing to do with dogs, cats, nothing along that line. It was the ox, all of the livestock, the horses, the mules, everything on a plantation system. And they had a rough life, and that's where we started. And when we started, we were known as the SPCA. We did not have the R. Later on, as the main RSPCA headquarters in England, when they saw the work that we were doing here in Barbados, they decided they would present us with the R.
Ah, interesting.
So that is where we got.
Yeah.
Timeline, cannot remember that
No,
at the
that's
moment.
fine. That's fine.
But that is where then we got the R.
Right.
So we moved from SPCA to RSPCA. Yes.
Is it going to change anytime with the Republic?
If it does,
now?
it would have to be the Republic. We can't
Yeah.
change the branding.
Understood. But that's for a later date.
Absolutely.
But the work that you do, because now the animals have changed, the plantation system really is
Correct.
no longer.
Correct.
So, yes, you have a lot of dogs and cats, but there's
Yes.
so much more you do.
That is
So
right.
please, I know the time's short today.
Okay.
But
okay.
share with us.
It's basically all animals that we get involved with. And this even goes on to the airports, the seaports.
Oh.
Some animals arrive hidden on boats that then we become involved with. And this could even be seabirds, whatever, just lighting on the boats, coming in, and then the staff realizing these birds are not well, whatever. So we get involved there. And that's Wayne as well. He would go into the port and we will bring the animals out, whatever may be. We get involved then with everyone. And I'm going back some years. Everyone had livestock in their backyard.
Oh,
you know,
right.
you had the pigs, the goat, the ducks, the
Yes.
sheep. Everybody had some form of farm animal. And that's then where we became more involved, rather than plantation animal, backyard animals. And then from there, of course, more and more people started with dogs and cats.
And you're also an animal hospital.
Yes, we are. We wear many caps. So yes, we're there for the public when they see things going wrong. We will look into it with their help. A lot like to do anonymous calls, and that does not help us in any way.
Right.
We need to know more information, how long it's been happening, just so that, not that we confront the person, but we have to let them know what has been witnessed. Many times they think because they have lodged a complaint that we should remove this animal. You can't do that.
Right.
To start with, we don't have the laws to say that you can never own another animal. We remove it, that person replaces it.
Yes.
So it's a growing whirlpool of distraught for animal welfare. What we tend to do is to teach, to go in, discuss. They see their pitfalls, they realize where they're going wrong. It is only when we have to repeatedly go back, that's when then we go with the police and the animal is removed. But not on the first visit. No, definitely not. And then of course we have everything else. Animals tied out, no water, no... The thing is, that is wrong. Before these sheep, horses sometimes are tied out, cows are tied, the owners feed them, they water them, then they take them to their sites. Pet owners, including livestock, are up way before most people are. They're up well between 4 or 5 o'clock, sorting them out, getting them out onto the pastures, and they do go back to them. So a lot of what is being witnessed is a bucket turned over or whatever. That was full, the water was from
there, but
yes.
yeah.
But still, the days are getting hotter and hotter.
As you discussed in,
Yes,
in
and
what we
we
saw.
definitely need to be more aware of where we tie our animals. They
Yeah.
need some shade. They really do.
How do
Yeah.
we recognize the signs, though, of heat stroke? Because you discussed it in our visit.
Peculiar enough, heat stroke is more dog problem.
Really?
Yes. Our farm animals know how to deal with it.
Wow.
They don't. Yes, during the very dry spells, they lose a lot of weight because we don't have the green grass any longer. And that tends to be the worst time for the RSPCA with complaint calls is during drought times. But they have hay, they have fodder.
And they get the moisture from
They do
that.
move them around, yes. And if you observe, rather than just driving by and seeing an animal out in a pasture, just probably stop your car, go and have a look. You're going to see the feces of that animal then. And an animal cannot pass feces if it is not eating.
Okay,
So,
that's amazing.
you know, just observe what is
Right.
happening in that area. Yes, it's looking a little trodden down. It's worse for wear because as animals graze, they pull the grass up by the root.
Wow.
So you have to constantly shift their tethering areas.
There is so much we have to
Yeah.
ask Charmaine, but we're going to find out how COVID affected animal care and especially the business of the RSPCA when we come back. COVID-19 affected us in so many ways, but particularly with animal care. What was it like during that time?
Disastrous. The abandonment of animals was just unreal. Don't get me wrong, animals are always abandoned, but it was brought more to the forefront because workplaces were shut down. People were at home. They were witnessing animals moving around their neighborhoods more. When everyone's at work, you don't notice what is happening around your home.
Yeah.
Everyone home is seeing it. It was a problem of feeding as well. You had your given dates to go to the supermarket. No one was thinking of picking up animal feed. Everyone was going for their produce to keep their home running satisfactorily. And the money was low because no one is now earning a living. They're just, you know, literally getting by day. So the purchasing of animal feed was very low on a shopping list. And everyone who probably had, and we are a hoarder of animals in Barbados. Some people had, you know, sometimes 13, 14 animals.
Wow.
And they were literally, instead of calling, moving them into another area, holding on to them and allowing people to help them to feed, it was just a flooding of abandonment taking
my
place.
goodness.
So and our numbers, we can safely hold 70 dogs approximately. That is for their well-being. We were, and the same probably with cats and kittens, we were way over 400 animals
Wow.
during COVID. And the expense, I mean, we were spending like $16,000 a month just feeding shelter animals.
Yeah, we saw your whiteboard.
Yeah,
You know, that you try to keep up to date.
That's right. And they were not even all of the animals.
Something
Yeah.
I noticed you mentioned, Charmaine, you said animal feed. What is the belief when it comes to feeding our animals? And I'm speaking of our dogs specifically now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them eat our food. They eat
Yes,
what we
yeah.
eat rather than their own feed.
I would say that is correct, probably going back probably 10, 15 years. Everyone is so conscious now, and TV has helped this. Supermarket aisles, we only had probably only pick a, you know, the speckled rice, the one that you pick.
Right.
And you made that, or macaroni, elbows and whatever, and you sort of subsidize your home food with that. Now you go into a supermarket and they're like 3 gondolas full. Everyone is more conscious on feeding their animals the
so
right
they
way.
should have their own
They
feed.
should have their own feed.
Okay,
Yes.
because you
Yes.
mentioned, I think, in the tour that you're noticing diabetes in dogs.
Well, yes, always has been, and in cats as well. Yes.
That
And they go on
that
to
caught my
injections, everything, just like humans.
insulin, just like
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
and
Yeah.
and why is that? Do you think?
To be honest, I think it's more that it's being caught. Yes, we probably always had it out there, but when an animal became really ill and the veterinary care was not as it is now.
Right.
Everyone is, the cat only sneezes and a phone call comes. You know, the dog is limping, the phone call comes and they come into us. Where then, you know, we can do a lot more than we could in the past. We do x-rays, we do ultrasounds, we do endoscopic. where you can actually, you know,
Yes.
put light down and go straight into the intestine, right the way down the throat. Then we have blood machines that, you know, any animal that we can't quite pin your finger on, then we start running CBCs, complete blood picture. And this is where then you're picking up kidney disease, you know, heart, even.
That's incredible.
It is, it is.
Right.
So the technical side of veterinary work has grown so beautifully. And we were blessed with lovely donations, equipment-wise, for the RSPCA.
And you all try to keep it affordable
Absolutely,
as well?
yes we do, yes we do.
Now, can we briefly talk about the rescues that
Yes.
Inspector Norville, you mentioned him earlier?
They are
Wayne?
multiple, whether it be up trees, down cliffs, down wells, in tanks, water holding tanks.
And wells, those wells.
Yeah, yeah.
We won't mention where you, because
No,
I
we
take
don't
your,
like to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, because sometimes it can be used as a continuing problem in down the same. We do have a couple of wells that we know are used all the time, but it's our hikers too. You know, our lovely population are more keep fit. They venture out, they're cycling, they're walking, they're hiking, they're doing everything. And they are the ones that are coming across these animals in the wells.
So if you see something, say something.
Say something, absolutely.
All right. I know that you like to stress the importance of animal cruelty.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't understand why you would do that to an animal.
No.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Just make a phone call. You know, animal control is there. We're there. Other shelters are there. Give us a chance to chat with you and turn things around for this animal.
Charmaine, I thank you so much. I know that time today really and truthfully was tight, but what we saw at our RSPCA was, I think, in need of a part 2. So I'm going to definitely put with this one to be continued. To see just what they do in terms of the surgeries and the hospital part of it.
Yeah,
and thank you all so much for what
well.
you do, and thank you for sharing with us today.
You're very welcome.
We're going to continue, I'm telling you, with another part in the Barbados RSPCA right here on Action for Animals. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.